Hey everyone, what's going on? So for episode 3, I'm going to be going over resistance bands and a few exercises that are great for toning the muscles and developing mobility control. Now, it is not required, but it is highly recommended that you get a variety of resistance bands to build up your strength, okay? So for instance, today we're going to be using a lot of the red ones because quite frankly I have a lot more of those accessible. All right. Now, when it comes to the resistance, you always want to start off with the lower resistance. Starting off with like the red ones, which are 35 pounds of resistance, is going to be a lot better for learning the movements than, let's say, starting off with the green one, which is 125. All right. So we're going to go ahead and start with a few exercises, starting with the rack, and then we will go from there. All right. So I will say, if you have not already watched episode 1, go back to it, refer to it, learn those movements prior to doing these exercises. Those exercises in episode 1 are the fundamental movements that we will be using going into the bands. With that being said, we are going to start off with a standing row. Now, with the row, you're going to want to make sure that you have a pretty good extension of the arm. Now, it will feel weird if you have a heavier resistant band, because you won't be able to get a full pull with the band. So you're going to need to scoot closer so it has the slack, which is perfectly fine if you're limited on the bands. Again, try to look for a band that has lower resistance, but if you can't and you just have to deal with what you got, then scoot closer and you'll get what's called a progressive load, which means that as you pull, that resistance will build until you get the full range of motion, okay? So as you start to get more and more adapt to this exercise, you are going to want to focus again on those elbows. Do not put the tension into your shoulders because it'll limit the range that you have, or it'll put too much stress up in here, and then you can get, pulled muscles and tension pulls and things like that, and it'll just be irritating. Okay, so always focus on driving those elbows back. It'll work the back a lot more, as you can see going through the back of the lat, coming around the corner here. As you come through, you follow the elbow and you're gonna wanna squeeze through the middle of your back. So as you find that resistance, again, I'm using a lower resistance than what I can pull, so I'm reducing stretch, or the slack, which again, if you are limited on the resistance that you have, you can increase the resistance to the full max, which again, this is only going to 35, but you can increase it by reducing the slack that you have. So as you come in, you pull, focus on the elbows driving back, pop the chest, and try to squeeze through the middle of your back. Once you gain that control, then you slowly release the bands back out to that full extension. Again, drive the elbows back and then release in a controlled manner. You do not want to be doing this like a loose noodle. There's no tension going into the back, okay? It'll give you a good bicep workout as you're just doing this, okay? But make sure you get that contraction in through the back. All right, so this next exercise is one that will always put a smile on people's face because it tones up the back of the arm. We are going into the overhead tricep extension. With the overhead tricep extension, it is very important that you get the control of the movement versus just throwing your shoulder and body into the exercise. Now, starting off, we are going to start exactly right where the banded row was, all right? You don't need to make an adjustment from here. You literally just turn around from here to here. Now, as you extend your arms above your head, you're going to want to move forward just slightly so that way you get the resistance to start pulling your shoulders back. You're going to want to squeeze your elbows in towards your head so that way you keep your shoulders in track. Once you got that locked into place, you want good stability. Just like every other exercise, it is all about stability. Make sure your feet are about shoulder width apart, knees are slightly bent, and then you extend your arms over your head. Again, you do not want to throw your whole body into it. You do not want to push yourself forward. You just want to be able to extend the arms up, push the thumbs out, and then come back in. As you come out, it is important to push the thumbs out so you get the full contraction through the tricep. You can also turn the wrist, which will do the exact same thing, okay? So you're coming above your head and push, or above your head and twist. But either way, you do not want to be throwing your arms into it. Another way that you can do the overhead tricep extension is actually leaning forward. Now this is great for those that have balance issues because it gives you more of a center of gravity, okay? With that one, like I said, all you gotta do is lean forward a little bit, tuck those elbows in, and then extend the arms out. Push the elbows, get that full tricep extension, and then come back in. So you're coming out, twist, coming back in, coming out, push, coming back in. Okay? Another key point when you're doing this is to make sure that your elbows stay tucked in. You do not want your elbows to flare out. All right, guys, so this next exercise is a banded pull-up. This exercise is tremendous in helping individuals be able to control a pull-up and be able to ultimately do a pull-up, as well as anywhere else you want to go with that, if you wanted to do muscle-ups and so forth and so forth. Now, with the banded pull-ups, it is a little scary getting into, so I would highly recommend making sure that you have somebody there with you or setting yourself up onto a box or higher to where it's an easy step through. Now, with the resistance band, it is important to know that you don't have any resistance coming down, right? It's gonna help you come down, but then it's going to spring you back up, all right? Now, to get in, again, it is a little scary at first, but once you get through that first little step, it's all easy peasy, okay? So make sure that you have a high enough box or a way to be able to step into this with no big issues, all right? And that takes away the fear factor. As you step in, you want your foot you want the band through the center of your foot. From there, you just drive the leg down, and then you need to make sure that you cross your leg. Now I'm gonna show you why this is a little scary if you don't know how to control it, all right? Now I'm using my weight to hold this in, but if I just let my leg go, okay, it's going to drive up. So make sure you force the band down and then wrap your leg around so you don't go anywhere. From there, it is easy peasy, all right? You just need to work on the control. Again, focus on the elbows doing the work. You do not want the tension into your shoulders, all right? So, without further, and the last thing I will mention is the grip. Grip is, again, all about comfort. I like doing a thumb over, but there's individuals that do thumb under. You can do a hook grip. It's all up to you and your comfort level. The distance apart, again, is all about comfort. You should know your range of motion by doing the overhead press or anything like that in previous videos. Again, if you don't know, refer back to episode 1. It'll go over how to figure all those out, all right? So, again, with this, control the motion by pushing your weight down into the band. Once you kind of get the swing down, you are going to follow your elbows up, trying to get your eyesight over the bar. But just starting off, you want to put most of the concentration in just trying to drive those elbows down. It doesn't matter how high you get, just work on the effort to get up. Do not put the tension into the shoulders, put it into the back. Just like so. And again, you can do it thumbs over, thumbs under, hook grip, doesn't matter. Just focus on the elbows. And then getting out. Again, make sure you got a nice step so you can just slide right out of it. All right, guys. So for our last exercise, we are going to be going over the push-up, okay? Now, with the push-up, there's many ways that you can wrap this band around you, okay? But the big thing is you don't want to get yourself all wrapped up to where you can't get out, right? Leads to a weird story. Now, with the banded push-up, it is very important that you do this very slow. The reason why is because you don't want to take your head out when you're trying to wrap this around, all right? Start off with the band wrapped around you from behind, and then put the band in through your elbow, okay? As you go into the push-up position, and again, If you're not sure about push-ups, refer back to episode 1, going through the full range of motion with the push-up. But this one is really going to help intensify the movement by decreasing the resistance on the way down, right? You're not going to have any resistance other than your body weight on the way down, but then it's going to add resistance as you start to push up, okay? So once you kind of got the hang of it, you're just going to be going up and down, trying to keep your core tight, and always try to get your chest to hit the ground before the rest of your body. All right, guys? I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and please like and subscribe. It helps me out a lot if you like what I'm doing, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next episode. Take it easy.